Hi everyone, LJ Ganaga here from LJ Realties, and today we're going to talk about, should I add an extension to my home or should I simply look for another property? Now, this is a question I get quite often. Hey LJ, look, my home is great, I love the location, however, it's starting to become a little bit small. What do you suggest we do in order to make this a little bit more livable? Now, most people have gotten the bug to renovate. Everybody wants to add an extension, change things around their home, and kind of analyze that. Extensions are great, except they're pretty expensive. If you're gonna do it right, we usually have to pour a new foundation, we have to kind of resink things, we're digging. It's not exactly the easiest endeavor, so it's something that's usually gonna add up. Typically in construction costs nowadays, you're looking at about $250 per square foot. So you really have to analyze what is the additional use we're gonna get out of the property. The second thing you have to consider is, do I have enough space for this? Is your lot going to permit the actual extension that you want to build onto it, okay? And the only reason why we're considering an extension here is because your kids are at the best school that you want, you love the neighborhood, you're close to everything that you need, and you really don't want to move. Generally speaking, adding an extension is going to be more expensive than finding another home that fits your criteria in that neighborhood, okay? Now that is a generalization. More times than not, I suggest finding a new home than adding an extension because overall, it will be less expensive. You get to finance the entire thing if you simply buy a new property as opposed to add that extension. However, there are exceptions, and that's what we're going to tackle today. If you must add an extension, be sure to speak to a designer, architect, and real estate professional to discuss not just the work that's actually going to go into this, but what kind of value are we going to add to the property? Do we need to add new bathrooms? Do we need to add more bedrooms? Is it just going to be more living area or space, kind of living room, kitchen, dining, etc.? And what's the general flow of the home going to be? We want to make sure that the final product really flows together. It all connects, it all makes sense. I've seen a couple of extensions where they just add an extra room because they wanted a little bit more space, but it kind of feels out of left field. It doesn't flow with the property at all, and it really kills the value at that point. You know, you haven't done anything to really add value. You spent all this money, and it really isn't bringing you anywhere. So the question of, should I add an extension to my home? Obviously the answer is, it depends. Can we find the same size that you're looking for elsewhere, or do we really have to do it here? Make sure that you're planning for delays. Make sure that you're planning for living through renovation. I just went through a renovation with my girlfriend, and obviously to me it was pretty normal, but it was her first renovation project. Understanding that things are delayed, the timelines aren't what you typically expect, that there's no kind of Gantt chart to understand where this whole thing is progressing is very normal in construction. They have a general loose timeline and they're kind of going on the fly as things come up. So understand that whatever they tell you is probably A, going to take a little bit more time, B, going to cost a little bit more money, and C, you're going to be filled with dust. There's dust everywhere. Places you didn't think dust could get into is going to be part of it. So understand these contingencies and the fact that it's going to affect your quality of life. That's my take on adding an extension versus buying another property. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.